Welcome back again to another video. So today nataka kuonesha something very cool. For those who are already in cybersecurity to understand this. Now when it comes to cybersecurity, kutakuwa na kitu tunaita penetration testing ama ethical hacking. And basically this is where we break into computer systems legally, of course, with someone's permission or a company's permission to find what we call vulnerabilities ama weak points in the computer systems and networks. So the reason why we do this is that tunataka kujua ni nini, where the weakness ama where the vulnerability is, so that we can find them mapema before the actual hackers get to hack those systems and gain access. Now watu wengi wakati watakuwa nasikia hacking, msianadhani ni kitu illegal tu yenye itakuwa inafanya. No, actually ethical hacking is big business right now. Even in Kenya, companies like Safaricom squeezy, they pay hackers, ethical hackers, to break into their computer systems and find those vulnerabilities, and then mazao unalipa pesa mzuri sana. You can also sign up kama uko na skills kama hizi cybersecurity skills. You can sign up for programs like bug bounty. Unaweza sign up kwa website kama HackerOne, where you can, wale wa jamaa watakuwa wanakulink na companies that want their systems hacked into. So utakuwa unapata ruhusa ya kuhack into those systems to find those vulnerabilities, na ukipata any vulnerability there, mazao unalipa pesa mzuri. So this is an ethical way, legal way of making money using your hacking skills. So mimi personally I don't condone ile kutumia skills zako kwenda kugonga wase watu hata hawajui nini inaendelea. So you are taking advantage of weak people to gain access to their systems and make money. I think hata ni something that is very wrong. So wakati utakuwa unapata hizi skills manze, you can use them legally to make money. You can sign up for bug bounty programs. Unaweza pata hata job in these companies. Cybersecurity professionals wako in demand sana sana in today's time and age, kwanza wakati everything is data driven in this world. So you'll expect that cybersecurity hata in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years in Kenya, itakuwa big business. Take it from me. Now today I want to show you some basics of penetration testing ama how hackers out there perform these penetration tests. On the left side, you can see that I have Kali Linux running, and on the right side I have Metasploitable 2. So Kali Linux is an operating system zenye hackers hutumia, wale good guys na bad guys wote wanatumianga hiyo operating system. Na hiyo operating system imeundwa specifically for cybersecurity professionals waweze kufind easy vulnerabilities in networks and computer systems. So Metasploitable 2 is a type of what we call a vulnerable machine. Utakuwa tunatumia hii vulnerable machines ku practice our hacking skills in a legal manner. So hatutaki kugonga systems za watu ama doing anything illegal. No. Hizi vitu zote zenye ziko hapa ni vitu unaweza set up on your computer na practice legally without breaking the law. Kenya pia tuko na cyber laws, my friend. And ukianza hiyo tabia kwenda kuhack vitu za watu nini, networks and systems, you'll get into trouble and you'll land in jail. So please don't do that. Just install virtual machine, install all this program software, na uanze ku practice your cybersecurity in a legal and I think in a very organized manner. Now today we are going to use Kali Linux to try and gain access to this Metasploitable 2 virtual machine. So before we proceed, lazima ukuwe na basics of Linux pia. I already told you about Linux and how Linux is so important in the cybersecurity world. Everything tutakuwa tunafanya tutakuwa tunatumia Linux. Now let me show you how it is done, and hopefully maybe hata unaweza kuwa na interest in cybersecurity na uende kufanya a cybersecurity course. Colleges like CHRM, College of Human Resource Management hapa tu Nairobi, they offer kitu kama I think Strathmore at Zitech University, they have cybersecurity courses. So maze, this is big business. I hope you like it. Now let's do it. So the first thing is, I have already done let me go to my. So if you do ifconfig, which is a command to find network information, utapata kwamba our Metasploitable 2 is running here na iko na IP address ya 192.168.0.103. If I come to my Kali machine and I do ifconfig again, we can see that we have an IP address of 192.168.0.100. Let's clear that. So what we are going to do is we are going to scan the Metasploitable 2 machine and then to find what we call open ports. So a port basically is a logical entry for information ama data. Hapa ndo mali data itakuwa inaingia into systems. So hackers most of the time watakuwa na scan these ports to find what services are running on those ports. Unaweza imagine ports ni kama tu madirisha tu kwa nyumba. So vile tu mwizi anaweza kuja aangalie ni dirisha gani inaweza kuwa wazi ndio aweze kugain access to that house. It's basically the same thing. Tutakuwa tuna scan ports on systems to find easy services ama which ports are open so that we can try to gain entry into that system using those ports. So that is basically what we are going to do. So I'm going to do sudo nmap, and then we are going to do a TCP scan. Don't worry about that. And then we are going to do the IP for 192.168. It is 0.103. And then we want to do what we call verbose input. Tunataka kujua nini inaendelea wakati tutakuwa tuna scan, tuweze kupata all this information, and then uta hit enter. And just like that, tunapata zile ports zote zenye ziko open on the metasploitable vulnerable machine. So kuna hizi ports zote. Now wakati tutakuwa na LAN computer networking, hizi ports zote ziko na specific service behind it. For example, port 21 kuna service inaitwa FTP, file transfer protocol, yenye itakuwa ina run behind that port. Port 2022 kawaida ina run what we call secure shell ama SSH. Port 23 telnet. Now kitu moja unafaa kujua, ina secure system hizi ports hazitakuwa open. Hata kama zitakuwa open, zitakuwa secured. But this Metasploitable 2 is vulnerable intentionally so that we can try to practice our skills. So ziko open so that wewe unaweza practice ku gain access into those systems. Now, let me start with the first one. We are going to try to break into the Metasploitable 2 using this open port TCP. Now, wakati tumepata port iko open, and in this case FTP service is running on that open port, we are going to find any vulnerabilities that exist in that service FTP. So what you're going to do is, I want to know the version behind this FTP. So kila service iko na version yake. So we are going to do sudo nmap again, and this time we are going to do port 21 na tunataka kujua the service and version, and then utapiga enter. And just like that tumejua kwamba it's running FTP and which version of FTP, VSFTPD 2.3.4. Now what you're going to do next, utaenda online kucheck kama kuna any vulnerability associated with this FTP version 2.3.4. Now we know that it is there. Now let's clear the screen again. Clear. Let's do sudo msf console. So kuna program inaitwa Metasploit framework yenye tunatumianga ku try to gain tutakuwa tunatumia ku scan and to gain access to computer systems. So what you're going to do is, we are going to search in the Metasploitable in the Metasploit framework database tuone kama kuna any vulnerability associated with the FTP version yenye tumepata on the Metasploitable 2. So we're going to do search VSFTPD 2.3.4 and then hit enter. And just like that, now we can see that we have an exploit that is available for VSFTPD 2.34, and you can see that it's a backdoor command execution. So an exploit is just a piece of software yenye tutakuwa tunatuma to the target system, which will scan the system, and then kama kuna vulnerability ndio itatusaidia kugain access. So ni kama nyundo tunagonga nayo ukuta. Now what we can do is, we can use this exploit to try and gain access to the Metasploitable 2 vulnerable machine. So I'm going to say use 0, and now we are inside the exploit Unix FTP VSFTPD 2.34 backdoor. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is, we are going to look at the options. Tuangalie hiyo exploit inataka nini. So we can see that inataka rhost na inataka rport. So rhost is the remote host, which is the Metasploitable 2 machine, and then the remote port ishaekwa tayari, which is port 21 ile FTP. Now let's do this. We're going to do set rhost. Ile rhost tutaweka ile IP address ile Metasploitable 2 192.168.0.103, and then piga enter. Look at the options again. Now we have set the rhost, which is the target host. And then the next thing is, we are going to look at what payloads we can use with the exploit. So an exploit is the first thing yenye itagonga system. After ile exploit imekuwa successful, kuna kitu inaitwa payload yenye itakuwa ina run on the target system na itatupatia ile connection back to our Kali Linux machine, so that we can have what we call a reverse shell. And hii reverse shell ndio itakuwa ina to enable us to control that ama to do anything on the target system, which is the metasploitable to vulnerable machine. So I'm going to do show payloads, and we can see we have one payload that is compatible with the exploit, this exploit here, Unix. So let's do show payloads again, and then we are going to use that payload, use 0. Now if you look at the options, you can see that everything has been set. The only thing yenye imebaki ni try and hack the system. Now we're going to do exploit, sorry. You can do exploit ama unaweza type run to send the exploit to the target machine and then hit enter. And just like that, the exploit is already running on the target machine. Now utaona kwamba backdoor service has been spawned and we have found a shell, a command shell. So now if I do vitu zinaitwa system commands, we can see that we can actually control the machine. So let's do ls. We can see all the directories on the metasploitable too. Now let me show you something even cool. You can background this session. Let's background it. Now if I do sessions, utaona kwamba now we have a session running on. So you can literally do anything on that machine. But let me show you something. Sessions -u and then 1. We are going to upgrade the session. So kuna kitu tunaitanga metapreter shell in cyber security, which is a shell that is iko more future rich. Yani itakuwa more easy ya kutumia kuweza kumanage ile system yenye tayari tusha hack. So now if we do sessions, sasa tuko na sessions mbili. We have a metapreter cell also. Let's do sessions -i2. If I do sysinfo, okay, we can see that the computer that is running is a metasploitable 2 and it's running on Ubuntu 8.4, Linux version 2.64. The architecture, everything is right there. So literally we now have access to that computer system. So you see, just like that, we have gained access to the metasploitable 2 machine. Now the thing is, wakati tutakuwa tuna follow hii procedure, tutakuwa kwanza tuna gather information about the system and then tunajaribu kuangalia ni ports gani ziko running on those systems. Tukifind any open ports, tutajaribu kufind the service behind that ama the version of the service that is running behind that port, and then finally tutakuwa tunaangalia vulnerabilities. Tukipata vulnerability sasa, tutajaribu kufind an exploit yenye na match hiyo vulnerability so that we can try to gain access to that system. So this is basically how hacking works. This is how you get hacked actually. It's very very simple, hakuna kitu ngumu hapa. And my friend, hii yote ni kitu what cyber security professionals wanafanya on a day to day basis. So mazeni is something very cool, something very fun. Ni career ingine tamu sana. So I hope mazee umeenjoy this video. Kama umeipenda, piga like button pale, share. Kama kuna any questions regarding this video, piga hapo chini. You can also save this video for future reference. Wewe jua wakati gani itakusaidia. Mazee, I hope mnapenda cyber security because I love it. It's very fun. It's very rewarding. So ni kitu mazee inaweza kusaidia. Ukiwa na skills ni kitu inaweza kuokolea pale nje. So thank you again and I hope to see you guys in the next video.